level. This is why. All right, guys, we're back with another video, and today I wanted to talk about one of the things that is vitally important for once you get onto a college team, you get on campus, and it's learning to love the proving ground. Now, I'm going to give you a brief explanation of kind of what the proving ground is. Obviously, this is a term I've come up with, but it encapsulates a lot of things that go on in college baseball where you really, again, it's in the name, you prove yourself to be and have certain characteristics. All right, so hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, guys. Really appreciate it. It helps us out with the algorithm and obviously reaching a broader audience with the message of this channel. If you are interested in getting recruiting help or anything like that, make sure to scan our Get Recruited QR code. And don't want to waste any more of your time, so we'll get right back into the video and the topic of the day. So guys, the proving ground. A story first to kind of talk about what this is. So every year in my college career, that first workout with the team was a gut check day. And the purpose of this gut check day, this is where a lot of parents, a lot of players, and they kind of have these like in high school football, but they're on a little bit slightly different level. At the college level, this is like where they're going to break you, right? They're going to break you. And a lot of parents and players get it wrong, kind of the purpose of what these things are for. And I tell this to all my players is, the purpose of gut check day or a gut check day is not to see who worked out all summer or who came in bad shape. Like, they know that. They don't need to like test you on, out on a field or whatever through hellish conditioning to know that. The purpose of a gut check day is to find out who's tough. Who are the guys that when their body's dying, when their legs can't move anymore, they still get up and find a way to make the time or find a way to complete whatever the task is. There's no amount of conditioning or being in shape that will prepare you for a gut check day. At some point, usually not even halfway through, pretty much everybody is in the same boat, right? And then it becomes, okay, who are the guys on the team that even though their bodies are broken, they refuse to be defeated. They refuse to be broken. They refuse to kind of give up. And what I found in my career is that the guys that do this and the guys that succeed, right, they're the guys that are, getting everybody, hey, get up, get up. They're the guys that are trying to motivate the other players who are giving up. Those guys there's a very high correlation between guys who were starters, big-time players for us, big-time pitchers for us, and the guys who were the toughest on the team. So the proving ground is simply this. Not only in the game, right? The game atmosphere is a proving ground because, again, there's mental pressures. It's not physical pressure. It's not like your muscles are giving out. It's when you're struggling or when you're having success, can you keep yourself in the right frame of mind to weather the storm and ride the ups and the downs as best as you can? Now, the reason I like talking about this is because, again, what this does is it helps you discover as a coach and as players who's fake and who's real on your team. Like, who's the fake tough guys, bunch of those guys now. There's a bunch of those guys out there now that, the guys that are talking trash and screaming at hitters, and then they give up a 3-run bomb in like the 3rd inning, and then they're out of the game. You're fake. You're not real. You're not that good. You just, you want to have the Instagram and you want to be the guy that dominates. So in the 2nd inning, when you strike out a guy, you're screaming off the mound. But you're actually not that guy, because that guy gets to the 6th inning. That guy punches out a bunch of dudes. You have a 7 ERA, and you can't even pitch deeper than 3rd inning. Like, save it. You're fake. So you find out who's real and who's fake. Who are the guys that will keep going? Who is really tough? That's what you find out. You find out who's really tough. Now, once a week or sometimes twice a week during fall practice, and certainly after fall practice was over, we would have challenges at Georgia Tech where a certain player who was going to be a starter or projected to be a starter would have an individual challenge. And based on how they performed in the individual challenge, the team would have to run based on how well that player did. So If you did really bad at your task, maybe you had to do 10 or maybe like 8 half laps timed and then 2 full laps timed or something like that. The point was, in baseball, you're going to have to make individual plays, but the team will suffer the consequences whether you succeed or you fail, right? And so it was to get into that mindset and that time and everything like that. The days I looked forward to the most, and this maybe sounds psychotic, but it was like the conditioning days, the days where we had a competition like that and we had to try to perform so that our team could actually not have to run that much and everything like that. And the reason is this: there's something just real about the proving ground, right? It's where you find out who's fake and real, but it's where every man has the same opportunity, right? Every player has the same chance. And what I mean by that is, like, we all start out in pretty much the same condition. We haven't done any running yet. All we have to do is complete the running, make the times, and we're done. And there's something pure about being in competition with your teammates and being the one that succeeds and being the one that's at the front of the pack and being the one who never is missing a time and making the team run more, right? I played with some guys that no matter if we were all yelling at them, they didn't care about, nothing could motivate them to make a time that they were 100% physically capable of making. So do you think that player is going to go on and like overachieve in their career? Do you guys think that? Do you think a guy who knows he has to make a certain time and his team won't run, and he's definitely physically capable of doing it, he's just got to push himself a little bit, and his teammates are all yelling at him, trying to motivate him one way or another, positive or negative, and he still refuses to push himself to make the time? Do you think that guy will ever achieve or overachieve in his career? No, he never will. Because if you can't push yourself to help your teammates and to do it for your teammates and to push yourself to make yourself better, you're never going to get far, right? So what I see across the game now are there's a bunch of dudes who are totally scared of the proving ground. They do not want to be the guy up in the tough situation. They do not want to be the guy coming out of the bullpen with bases loaded, 1 out in a 1-run situation. They don't want to be that guy. They're scared to death to fail. Instead of being excited to get the opportunity to be the guy that can come in and win the ball game or save the ball game offensively or on the pitcher's mound or even defensively. And that's because now more than ever, there's a lot of teams that are not putting guys through the ringer in the fall, in the early season, by building mental toughness and building confidence, right? How do you gain confidence? You do hard things consistently. You do something that's hard for you, that's a challenge, and you achieve it. You overcome it, right? That builds confidence. When you do things that are hard and you actually complete it, that builds confidence. But if you're never putting players in challenging scenarios, if you're never pushing them in the weight room, pushing them in conditioning, making it hard, right? Seeing if you can bring something out of them that's better than what they currently are, then you're never going to see that show up in the season. And so again, like with the proving ground, so many players now are scared to death of the proving ground because they're never in it. My college career, we had to go to the proving ground 2 or 3 times a week. It was like you're coming in the weight room and it's like, hey, what was the conditioning today? And they were like, you saw just eyes, exhausted eyes, and red faces from running, and you're just like, oh no, it's going to be tough today. But it was like always like, I can't wait to see what we got to do. That was my approach. My approach was like, I cannot wait to see what we have to do as a team and suffer through and overcome, right? Because I knew it was going to make us better. And it's no wonder that when I got into the season, especially as a freshman and obviously as I got older, like when I got up in those big situations, it made me better. I wanted to be the guy in that situation. I wanted to be the guy who came up in the bottom of the 9th, down by 1 with a runner on 2nd or 3rd. I wanted to be that guy to come up in a big situation and come through for the team. I didn't want anyone else up but me, right? Because I had that confidence. I knew I was tough. I knew I could handle it. The proving ground will make you a better player. Guys, if you're not mentally tough, I have to say this. If you are not mentally tough, you will not make it in this game. Period. You want to know the hardest sport in the world to maintain confidence is baseball. Because you will have a time like I did in Double-A where you're 0 for 28 and you're like, I don't know if I can remember how to hit. And the amount of guys that I saw over my career who were way more talented than me that never got to the level I did, they didn't get there because they would get mentally broken. They'd go 0 for 28 and they would immediately go to the season's over, I can't have a good year now, this sucks, and just dwell in their misery. And my approach was like, yeah, this sucks, but one of these days I got to break out. One of these days I'm going to break out, I'm going to get a few barrels, and I'll be fine. Right? But that's not the majority of what happens. The majority of guys let the results on the field break them. If you want to start building mental toughness now, start doing hard things. When you think you're done in the weight room, do one more set. When you think you're done doing conditioning, do a few more. Do a few more timed laps. Do a few more sprints, whatever it is. Push yourself to do hard things. I can promise you, if you're the guy that you always kind of pull up and you never can be the guy at the front of the pack, and you make excuses for everything, and mom and dad always are like, hey, that wasn't your fault. That wasn't your fault. The coach put you in a bad position. Like, you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Sorry. You cannot be an excuse maker and make it to a high level in baseball. Maybe you can do that in other sports. I don't know. I didn't get there. But in baseball, if you're making excuses and mom and dad think that it's the coach's fault and the coach doesn't like you and he put you in that bad position and why is he pinch hitting you there? You haven't got at bats this way yet. Yeah, I've heard it all. And if you're that guy, you're not going to make it. All right, so you better develop yourself as a player and develop mental toughness and start taking responsibility for your failures and your achievements. And if you do that, you're going to achieve better than you would if you're going to keep making excuses. Right? So I hope you guys like this video about the proving ground. Again, it's kind of like my favorite thing in my career is doing things like that, pushing yourself to achieve things outside of what even you think you're capable of, and pushing yourself with your teammates, building that camaraderie. Again, the best memories I have are from like gut check days. I see my guys I played with still all the time, and we talk about like that one gut check day or that one conditioning day when everybody was dying. Like, those are the times you look back and you remember. Those are the times you look back and you remember. You remember the times where you suffered together as teammates and kind of as brothers, and you built that camaraderie. And if you asked any of my teammates if they could go back to college, like freshman year, go back to your freshman year, but every day you got to go through a gut check day, it would be like, all right, see ya, hey, we're going. Hey, see you there. Let's do a gut check day every day. We'll go back to college. That's how much fun we had as a group and in life there and as a team. Like, we would all say, oh, yeah, gut check a day? Yeah, let's go. Because all the guys that I'm close with now were those guys who made all the times, pushed themselves, were the guys that would still push themselves in a gut check day even though they were broken, right? So if you imagine, like, that's what we'd be willing to do to go back to starting our career again in college. So if you're a high school kid right now, be thankful and savor the time that you have. Because at one point, one day you're going to open your eyes and you're going to be 33 years old like me and kind of you're like, how did I get here? I thought when I got drafted, it was like, I'm going to be playing baseball forever. And now it's been almost the same amount of time that I played in my professional career that I haven't played, which is crazy to think about. So guys, let me know what you think about this video. Let me know in the comments. We'll be back again with another one.